Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Made Simple. My name is Hassan, and I'm so glad you're here for today's lesson. We're going to talk about one of the first and most important things you do when you meet new people, talking about yourself. Whether you're making a new friend, starting a new class, or even in a job interview, introducing yourself is a key skill for good communication. It can feel a little scary at first, but don't worry. Today, I'm going to give you some simple and effective phrases to talk about yourself with confidence. Let's get started. First, let's start with the absolute basics. These are the first things people usually share. The first thing is your name. You can say, "My name is," followed by your name. For example, "My name is Hassan." A more common and casual way is to say "I'm" followed by your name. For example, "I'm Hassan." Both are perfect. Next, people often share where they are from. You can say "I'm from" and then your country. For example, "I'm from Canada." If you want to be more specific, you can say "I live in" and then your city. For example, "I live in Toronto." Finally, people usually mention what they do. If you're a student, you can say, "I'm a student." If you have a job, you can say, "I work as a," and then your job title. For example, "I work as a teacher." So that's name, origin, and job or study. Great. Once you've covered the basics, a wonderful way to continue the conversation is to talk about your hobbies and interests. This is how people get to know you better. Here are a few easy phrases. You can say, "I enjoy," followed by a verb with ing. For example, "I enjoy reading books," or "I enjoy hiking in the mountains." Another very simple phrase is "I like." You can say, "I like to play guitar," or "I like watching movies." If you want to talk about what you do to relax, you can say, "In my free time, I," for example, "In my free time, I listen to music." And if you really love something like a sports team or a type of music, you can say, "I'm a big fan of." For example, "I'm a big fan of rock music." Now, let's learn how to share a little bit about your personality. Your personality is what you are like as a person. Here are some simple ways to do this. You can say, "I'm a," and then add an adjective. For example, "I'm a friendly person." A slightly more advanced way is to say, "I would say I'm." This sounds a little more thoughtful. For example, "I would say I'm quite creative." Here are a few common positive adjectives you can use to describe yourself. Friendly, which means you are nice to people and easy to talk to. Quiet, which means you are calm and don't talk a lot. Funny, which means you like to make people laugh. And creative, which means you enjoy making or thinking of new things. You are doing a fantastic job. You've learned how to share your name, where you're from, your hobbies, and even your personality. Now, let's put it all together. I will give you a full example of a self-introduction using the phrases we've learned today. Listen carefully. Hello, my name is Avery. It's nice to meet you all. I'm from the United States, and I live in a city called Denver. I work as an English teacher online. In my free time, I really enjoy hiking in the mountains near my city. I also like to play the piano. I'm a big fan of jazz music. I would say I'm a pretty friendly and creative person, and I love helping people learn. See, that was a nice, complete introduction that gives people a good idea of who I am. And you can do it too. All right, let's do a quick recap. Today, you learned the essentials for talking about yourself. You learned how to state your name, origin, and job. You learned several ways to talk about your hobbies and interests. And you learned how to describe your personality with some positive adjectives. Now it's your turn to practice. This is the most important part. I want you to introduce yourself in the comment section below this video. Tell me your name, where you're from, and one thing you enjoy doing. I would love to read your introductions and get to know you. Thank you so much for joining me today on English Made Simple. If you found this lesson helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!